right, so my name is Dimitris. I work for Red Hat. Long time doing JBoss. Do you know JBoss? Yeah, we made JBoss. I worked there for 15 years. And then 6 years ago, in a place not too far away, Neuchâtel, Switzerland, an hour from here, we made Quarkus, which is like a state-of-the-art framework in Java for cloud-native development. And Quarkus has grown, and today is made by 1,000 developers. So we have 1,000 contributors that make Quarkus, and if you're one of them, when we put out the next major release, you get a T-shirt. So. All right, so I'll give you an idea about Quarkus and what we do in AI and our AI journey, which for me started a long time ago when I saw this movie as a teenager where the kid hacks into the Pentagon computers and is about to start a nuclear war, thinking he's playing a game, basically, and the computer was smart. So I saw this as a kid and I thought, yeah, I want to do that. I want to hack into computers and do smart things with AI. So I started as a hobby. I studied, I worked there 30 years to discover that, nothing of that worked. AI was like science fiction for most of the part. We can do very advanced stuff without AI, very complex stuff, and that's what I've been doing. But it didn't quite work for most of the people. But then still things started changing. If you look back maybe a decade, there's a lot going on. Impressive stuff with robotics and vision and games. The big thing that happened at Google with the Transformer paper, and things like AlphaZero, learning to play chess just by the rules and playing on its own. And in 4 hours, it was able to beat any other chess software ever written. So at that point, we realized, something's changed. And we really got to that realization like a couple of years ago with generative AI, hitting the news, seeing pictures like this winning art competitions. Someone prompted and created this picture and photoshopped a bit. And then we wonder, okay, who's the painter now? Like the prompter or the model that was trained on, thousands of, millions of pictures. But the thing was that AI entered the space of creativity, things that we consider to be, human-like. And then, of course, ChatGPT, the genie was out of the bottle. Generative AI came and was available to everyone. So now, all your kids make their, essays using ChatGPT. So it's here and it's here to stay. ChatGPT was an internet service that went to a million users in 5 days, right? It broke every record pretty much. And a couple of things about large language models. Well, you learned everything there is to know about embeddings in the previous talk. Very quickly, base models, foundational models. We make a big neural network, and we feed it to the internet. And this is basically unsupervised learning. The same way a kid would learn to speak just by listening. The kid listens to words, and then at some point, despite me, it speaks Swiss Allemand. So that's the left phase where you can just generate words. Once upon a time, that's all it does. And to do that, actually, I don't know if you know, but GPT-4, to train GPT-4, it took the energy of all Swiss households that they consume in a year. That's how energy efficient this thing is. So that was the training, and then we go to the fine-tuning states where we make the model actually useful. We make it a chat assistant. It's like sending the kid to school to learn syntax and grammar, yeah? So we want the model, for example, when you ask the model, can you teach me how to make a bomb? We want the model to say, no, I know how to do it because I read it on the internet, but I won't tell you. So this is this phase where we make the model helpful, honest, harmless, and all that. And then we put the model into exams, we ask questions and we say, yeah, I like this answer. And all that is done so we, the simple people, can actually use the model. So how many data scientists do we have in the room? 2, 3, okay, excellent. I thought so. What about the developers? Okay, we want to use this stuff. How we do it? Well, it's kind of easy and it's not, because the model is essentially an API. It's an API somewhere on the cloud, on a local computer, where I talk to model through this API. But this API has 2 qualities that make it special. The first is completely stateless. If I ask something, I get back a reply. Ask something again, it remembers nothing of the conversation. If I really want to have a conversation, I have to emulate a memory. So every time we talk, I send back all the previous discussion. So you need some sort of middleware to achieve this effect. And of course, the other thing is when you talk to the model, you ask something, you get a reply. If I ask the same thing, I might get a different reply. So the answers are not deterministic, and we have to deal with all this uncertainty, which is actually hard to do. And then you can do a lot with there's a lot of models for pretty much anything. Few people will actually get into the trouble to create their own model or fine-tune a model. So, there are tons of models. There are hundreds, thousands of models that are good enough to help you, do stuff. And this is where, let's say, the people that left the room, Python lovers, yeah? They had all the fun, like during this time, and the Java folks, yeah, we didn't have many options to play, but this is no more because LangChain4j came about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and LangChain4j is essentially an adaptation of the LangChain concept, so this popular Python library, in Java. It's a complete rewrite, and it takes ideas from other frameworks as well, Llama Index. And in some cases, LangChain4j goes beyond and offers, new and better things than LangChain. And I don't know, do you know Hibernate? Have you heard about Hibernate or object-to-relational mapping frameworks? You can imagine like LangChain4j is like the Hibernate for LLMs. So LangChain4j will abstract how you talk to them, different inference APIs, the different models. It will do all the mapping of method of data exchanged, prompting, memory management, tool support. It will do all this boring stuff, so you don't have to do it yourself. And then it has excellent support for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Have you heard about RAG? It's like what everybody does. It's like you want to talk to the model with your own data that the model does not know about. So you can do all of that standalone, or you could use LangChain4j with Quarkus, which is the framework we are making, where we add, let's say, the enterprise capability into LangChain4j. So we say, what's enterprise? Well, talk pretty much over any security weird setup you may have support for metrics, tracing, auditing, all the, let's say, enterprise stuff you're used to with any other sort of distributed programming. Super performance, we can compile to native, it's super efficient. We have a fantastic developer experience that goes with programming. I'm going to show you that. And it integrates very well with pretty much everything you do. So whether you talk to a database, or you talk to a REST endpoint, or you talk to an LLM, for us, it's almost the same. And enough of that. I'll be brain enough to try to, live code for you. I hope it works. Yeah, this is our talk. So how you start with that thing? Let me make this bigger for you. Well, you can go to Quarkus.io. So there's our website, and there's a nice button here that says Start Coding. So let's start coding, make something. So here you have access to like a gazillion of extensions. We have something like 700 extensions to do pretty much everything. So let's do like REST. So we'll have a web thing we can talk to. And then if we filter for LangChain, you see different things we support. So we can talk to all the popular APIs, Hugging Face, ChatGPT, Gemini, watsonx, and then vector stores, which is a popular pattern if you want to do RAG. So we do all of that. And then, let's talk to ChatGPT, like the popular choice. OpenAI, you say, okay, generate an application for me, download it. So it's on my laptop now. And I should be able to just unzip it somewhere. So I have it here. Yeah, fire up an ID. So I'm doing this way to show you that there's no magic. I don't have prepared anything, just starting from scratch. And while here, view terminal. I'm not sure if you can, it's big enough for you to see. Yeah, I think it's okay. Now, to start with Quarkus, it's all Maven based, so you could do like Maven, Quarkus Dev. But I also have a CLI installed. It's like Quarkus CLI. So you can just do Quarkus Dev. And when you do that, Quarkus will compile your application and enter a special, what we call developer mode, where Quarkus actually can do smart things for you. So Quarkus is running. There's a small console here. I can get like help with options, what I can do. One of the things I can do is just connect to what I just created. So Quarkus app is created, and in this special mode, it also shows a page. So I'm connecting to my application, and it has implemented an endpoint for me, hello, so I can say hello to my app. So Quarkus is running, and it has like a test class. It's like here. So it created like a simple resource. This is standard Java. There's no magic here. And I can go here and say, start changing. Hello from Quarkus at Uphill Conf. All right? So with Quarkus, when you save something, it automatically recompiles and restarts the server. So like in less than, half a second, Quarkus saw I have made a change, recompiled, refreshed, the change is there. So you don't have to do anything there. Also, when you are in development mode, you have this nice DevUI. So basically, this is in my application. It shows nice things like, what are the dependencies to make this simple app? Yeah, I can do this as well. What are the dependencies that make up my app? What are the components? What are the configurations? So I could go there and say, for example, OpenAI timeout. I can get help about pretty much everything I can configure. So let's say I want to change the timeout to 60 seconds, right? And then I can do OpenAI log. I want to log requests and responses, right? So any change I do here is reflected in my app. If I go back to my app, you see now, those are the changes I made. The changes are persisted, server is restarted, it's there for me to try. And guess what? Since Quarkus knows that I'm making an application that uses ChatGPT, I can already talk to ChatGPT right here from the DevUI. So if I go here, I get access to the moderation model of ChatGPT. So let's say I want to moderate this text. my code does not work. I want to kill myself. Naturally. That looks like a self-harming operation. I want to kill myself. If I want to say I want to kill somebody, now it's violence. I get violent when my code doesn't work. I even have access to the image model of ChatGPT. So let's say, if I want to say, okay, a Java developer in Bern, Switzerland. Let's put a cat as well, and a cat. Why not? So you can imagine I can exercise different things of the model. I can chat with the model. So if I've chosen, let's say, Gemini, I would be talking to Google. Now I'm talking to ChatGPT. And you maybe wonder, like, okay, that's a cat. Yeah. And a female developer. Interesting. So, yeah, it handles all this in the background for me. I don't have to do anything. So, okay, let's go back to code. So we have our resource. How we make our application like smart. So to make it smart, there are different ways to do it, but we've chosen our preferred way. Is like this. We add an interface, and we annotate it with register AI service. I want to make a smart thing, and I model this as an interface. So I say string greet string message. Sorry? Yeah, semicolon. Of course. That's the good thing of having developers here. Yeah. All right. So that's all I need. So I'm saying here, Quarkus, please implement this class, an implementation of this class, using whatever model you have configured to talk to the model. So with this in place, I can go back and just say, OK, here, let's inject an instance of this class. Quarkus will do it for me, and I can use it straight away here. Greet. Like this. OK? So I'm just using this class. So if I go back and say hello, let's see what happens. So I'm talking ChatGPT, right? It was super easy to just, And if I had a different extension, I would be talking to Gemini. So hello, it's great to hear from you at Uphill Conf, Quarkus, exciting framework. It knows everything about Quarkus as well. Cool. So let's make it a bit more interesting. So that's one way to do it. So basically, whatever you send here is sent to the model, and then you get back a reply. I can do this with annotation. So let's say can use a user message annotation. Which can also be parameterized. So basically, my prompt now is this: hello from name. The name is taken from this variable. So this is a template, is a special type of template in Quarkus. It can be very complicated. You can have if then else structures. It can be as advanced as you want, and it's pre-calculated at build time. It's optimized, all that. So with that in place, I can say hello from. My fingers are sticky. Okay. Hello from Dimitris. Okay, so let's say go back here. Hello. I didn't save the file. Yep. And you can see immediately how the change. You just save the file and it's there. It's running. Hello, Dimitris. How can I assist you today? Cool. Let's make it more interesting. So that's a simple prompt. In many cases, we want to add a system prompt, a system message, and the system message defines the context of the discussion. So in Java, I can do this with a multi-line comment. Yes. Like this. Yep. So let's add the context to our discussion. So let's say you are a professional greeter. Greet people as if you are Troy Hawk of the Greeters Guild. So Troy Hawk is actually a real person on the internet that runs a show greeting people in fancy ways. And I'm sure ChatGPT knows about this because it knows everything. So if I say, I say hello again, now I get a fancy greeting. Greece Station's team Dimitris, how splendid it is to make your acquaintance, blah, blah, blah. And if I call again, I get another fancy, So let's continue with our example. I could keep adding methods here. So let's say I want to send a prompt that is like this. What time is it? Time. I want to find out the time. Yeah. And to use this, because we're lazy, we'll just copy paste here and do this. Path, time, like this. Yep, that should work. So now I have a new endpoint. Hello, tell me the time. And ChatGPT doesn't know the time. It's so smart, but doesn't know what's the time. Because LLMs have no notion of space or time. You have to tell them. So how we tell them the time? Most advanced LLMs have the notion of a function. You give the model the ability to call you back and get information. And there's a very nice way to model this in Quarkus. And let me show you how you can do it. So let's say we have a new class in Java. And you notice that the code that I'm writing is just standard Java. There's nothing AI special here. So let's say local date time. Yep, this one. Oop. Get current time. Just added a very simple function that returns the time. Where the magic happens is when you say, all right, this is a tool. This is actually an annotation from LangChain4j. So I'm saying this is a tool. So how I make the tool available to the LLM? Well, you go back to your service and you say, either for this service as a whole or for this particular for this particular method, look for tools in this new class I just created. Greeter class, yeah. So this is how we link the tools from this class to our intelligent service. And if we ask the time again, it knows the time. It's magic, right? So how does that work, actually? We can look at the logs. Logs always tell the truth. So let's see. All right. So you notice that I didn't do anything. Quarkus restarted itself, so it does everything for me. So I'm talking to the ChatGPT API. All right. Here you can see I'm talking to the GPT-4o mini model. And this is the prompt we just sent. What time is it? Now, together with the prompt, because we're using tools, Quarkus includes this metadata. Look, I have this method called gearCurrentTime. and I make this available to you. We call the model. The model thinks about it and says, okay, I don't know the time, but you just gave me a function called getCurrentTime. It probably returns the time. So could you call this method and tell me the result? So that's the response from ChatGPT. So we get the response together with a bit of, data, how many tokens and all that. And then in the next response to our model, which happens behind the scenes, we resend the whole conversation. So look, we asked, what time is it? Then ChatGPT said, call this method for me. We call this method, and this is the result, plus the metadata. So we send the whole shebang again. And then, of course, ChatGPT has all the data, and it can say, oh, yeah, now I know the time. So you can imagine how powerful this concept is. You have your standard code. It can be anything. And you say, OK, this method, I make it available to the model. This method, I make it available to the model. And that's like the easiest way you can create what we call now agents. An agent, they tell you it's like a big thing, but it's really not a big thing. It's just a prompt that's complex enough to give the model some agency on how it's supposed to work. A set of tools, so the model can call this, call that, or call this other thing in its own discretion. Memory, which is implemented automatically for you, and that's an agent. So no big deal. And that was like a simple example, how you get started. Let me show you a more elaborate example. File, recent, a chatbot. Everybody does chatbots. Not here. Here. Quarkus Dev. That's all you need to know. So this example implements a chatbot that works like this. We have top 100 movies from IMDb in a CSV file. And what we do is we ingest this data into an ordinary, boring Postgres database. And with Quarkus, it's super easy because you say, I want the Postgres database. I put it in my POM XML. Quarkus sees that and says, OK, I'll spin up a container for you. So if I look here now, where is it here? There are two containers running. This is Podman, Docker, works with everything. So Postgres is already running, configured. I don't have to do anything. And then I can access my chatbot. Oh, this is my chatbot. So let's see. Hi, I'm attending Uphill Conf. Well, why not? Uphill Conf. Can you propose a nice comedy for tonight? So we asked the bot to, propose me a movie. I say, sure, life is beautiful. So how we get to that? Well, it's quite interesting. We access the LLM 3 times. The first time we do what we call query compression. I may have a dialogue with the model, which is, hi, I'm feeling sad today. I want to see a movie. But really the question is, I want to see a movie. I want to see like a funny movie. So we get back the actual question, and then we ask the model again. Let me show you. Where's my service? I just want to find this nice service. Where is it? Up, movie. That's the query compression. Jesus Christ, what happened to the file? All right. Yeah, anyway, I can't find the file. But what we do here is we take the question and we ask the model, look, I got this question and I have this database with this schema. Can you please generate SQL code for me to find relevant data? And we get back relevant data and then we execute the query. And look at the query that I got back. Look. From the movies database, look for comedies, sorted by rating, give me one. It's perfect SQL code. I can do more complex queries. I can do, let's say, okay, what were the top 3 action movies of the 90s? The Matrix, Terminator, and Leon. But let's look at the query again. Look how beautifully it mapped the release date. It figured out, yeah, between 90 and 99. So this is a fantastic example to show you that when you do RAG, of course you can do vector stores and all that, but you don't have to. RAG is really how I found extra data to stuff with a prompt and send it out. And considering that you guys have probably, I don't know, 90% of your data in SQL stores, that's a shitload of data that you can use like this. And another interesting thing here, if I go to my DevUI, this same thing, this chat, I can do it right here in the DevUI. So let's say a nice action movie. And here I have the option to disable RAG. And look here. I'll get back a reply. So I got back, yeah, you know, John Wick, Mad Max, all that. So this is ChatGPT replying without my help. ChatGPT knows about movies. But in this case, I disable the RAG mechanism. And I can enable it again. A nice action movie. And now RAG will kick in. And I'll show you here the magic. So what's really RAG behind the scenes is this line here. Answer using the following information. So it's all text. There's this myth that it's vectors and all that. But when I'm talking to the model, it's all text. If you have ways to create text and stuff it here in the prompt, you're golden. You see? That's how we do it. So with that, I think I'll finish the demo. Couple more slides. So I think you got an idea. It's super easy to do AI with Java, Quarkus. In some cases, I think we can do more advanced stuff, like the RAG stuff I showed you. It's super easy to do. So it's definitely we're entering a new era where, despite the hype, this stuff will not go away. This stuff actually works. 30 years, I was waiting for this moment. This moment is now. So think about what you can do next, because I think, especially for the Java crowd that was deprived of the AI fun for some time now you have the tools in place to actually do very interesting stuff. And the innovation will come from you, because you have the data. You have the domain knowledge. In whatever domain you are, you have the power to use this data and do all sorts of interesting applications. We have some ideas here for things you can do. In this conference, I think you get lot more ideas of what you can do with those technologies. But have in mind just use your superpowers for good. This is it's like a weapon, right? We can do very nice things. We can do very bad things also with this technology. So yeah, use it for good. And I'm actually done. And we have 4 minutes for questions, even. So you can ask any crazy stuff. Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Andreadis. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Jesus Christ.
All right. Let me find the freaking file because I was looking for it. It's a helper method here. If you see the prompt, you. Is it? Well, that's the prompt we see for that. Okay, now here it is, finally. So that's the secret sauce. So basically, we send the question. Okay. Oh, go away. And then my prompt here says more or less, look, I'm using Postgres. This is the schema. We pass it as a parameter. So we tell the model we're using Postgres. This is the schema. This is the question. Generate for me SQL. That's it. Does it answer your question? So the schema here we pass has the details of the database tables.
Would it work with more tables?
With everything. They are exceptionally well with databases and SQL because there's tons of, they're trained on tons of information. So RAG works fantastically well like this. We have lots of examples with normal vector stores and all that, or you can do combinations. Yeah, and we have a very nice. If you go to the to our blog, where's Quarkus blog? Quarkus.io. Here, there's a lot of news about like our AI explorations. We support MCP. If you play with MCP, we created the first implementation out there. And there's a series of agentic blogs. There's the Anthropic papers. They're very good if you want to understand agents. So we have mapped this to Quarkus and how you go about implementing them here. Let me see all their posts. Yeah, anyway. Like this, yeah. Agents. Yep. Go read those 2 blogs. They're fantastic.
Suppose you can use the local model, right?
Local model?
Upload the model and use it.
Yeah, you can use whatever model. I could do the same demo with Olama on my laptop.
You have questions over there.
Over there,
He's
in the
running
back.
with the mic. Oh, yeah, but you could go.
All that is available if you look for Quarkus LangChain4j samples. It's on GitHub. Here. Samples. It's all here. And there was one in the back.
There's one in the back right here.
Yeah, you mentioned that you offer lots of support for building RAG cases. Do you also have some support for evaluating the quality of that RAG chain? I know in the Python world there is RAGAS as assessment of the quality. Is there something similar in the Java world or Quarkus world?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And it's like all the difficulty is of course how I test this stuff. So it's a new area, we're working on it now. We have a bit of support, like in terms of unit tests of things you can check. Just last week, there was a presentation at DevOps. I think it'll go online next week that answers exactly your question, what I can do now to do evaluations. What we're looking at is to offer a bit of support in the framework itself and a way to generate data that could go to other frameworks, Python included, so that we can use some of their ecosystem. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to make it, work together. But this is the latest developments are basically around this area, which is super important. And I can tell you, I've worked on application servers for 15 years. The hardest part was always the transient tests, like tests that might fail or not fail, and it was it was a hell. Now imagine now most of your code will be like this. It would be probabilistic. So we really have to solve this problem in a good way. So yeah, that's the biggest challenge. Yeah, very good question. There's one more, and we're done.
Yeah, we could do one more.
And then it's coffee, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep talking. For.
Thank you very much. Are there any safeguards that you don't inject the prompt to say ignore the select and do a drop table?
Excellent question. Yeah. So we have support for what we call guardrails. So we can intercept what we send and what we receive, and implement different strategies around it. Strategies could be you put checks in your code. If I get a drop table, I ignore it. Or you can call another LLM, and this other LLM being the judge of, does this look strange to you or suspicious? And actually, just yesterday, we had a workshop that we showed how this works. And if you come to me, I can give you some links and some examples, okay? And I'll be here the full day. Grab me, let's talk about it. And tell me, what you're interested in implementing.
All right, I think we could give him another big round of applause. And this is your gift for your wonderful talk.
Thank you very much.